see your lights on here. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Good afternoon, VV Nation. Happy Friday and welcome. Let's see here. All right, the alert should be hitting in just a moment. I do see some people making their way. Yep, it just hit on my phone now. Perfect. And you like the title there? Are you buying the dip? I saw the rebound in the market today from the open. So I have a feeling there's some of you watching that might have bought this dip. Hey, if you did, just stay disciplined. Stay disciplined. As you can see right behind me with the color guard here, we have a predominance of yellow lights. Jazz says buying Bitcoin. Interesting. There we go. I've been holding since the beginning of the dip. Beginning of the dip. Which beginning of the dip, David? Which beginning of the dip? Well, to all you dip buyers, I know today, I bought the dip yesterday. You saw it on the live stream. I bought about 100 shares of Data Vault. Wish I had bought some calls this morning. But right now I'm actually holding on some puts I recently opened on the Qs. So we'll see if there's any fruition in that trade here. But hey, we can see right now just looking at the color guard, right? Just know if you bought any stocks recently, stay disciplined. Stay disciplined. All right, but that being said here, the primary wave is still down. If we take a look at the primary wave, price action 75.67. 5 days ago, 75.77. So come Monday, because unless, we get a little bit more of a rally here, looks like that primary wave most likely will be staying to the down. We'll definitely have to have some a strong afternoon rally, get that primary wave up. We got about 10 more cents on the VectorVest composite here. But come Monday, the primary wave, that threshold will be off of November 10th, 76.49. Making that bar even harder to obtain that primary wave up signal. So I'm not quite sold on the rally. This morning, from what I'm seeing, just looking at the Qs, looking at the major indices here, I put it out on a video earlier this week, the pivot off the 40, right? Well, we broke the 40, especially in the Qs, but we're just retesting that from the bottom right now, from the bottom. So if you're seeing this update today, it's a simple technical analysis move. I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about here. For those that may not be an active trader, swing trader, whatever it may be. If you're more of an investor, you're probably going to learn something today. Right now, I've got a 20 and a 40-day here. That 20 should be exponential. Let's just make sure it is here. 20 exponential, 40 simple moving average. Let me go back one more here. Let's go to 3 months, right? We broke this. I talked about this little pivot here off the 40. That was the first dip, right? First dip. Coming right back to retest that 40, right? So if you bought the dip within the last, 5 trading sessions, as of right now, you're up a little bit higher than you were. But today, we're solely retesting that 40 from the bottom now, from the bottom. So if you are buying the dip and you're noticing this volatility right now in your portfolio, this is essentially what's going on. And it's not just this one. If I look at like the SPY, I don't know what it's done today. I don't trade it per se. But if we see here, let's look. Okay, so pretty similar. Caught the 40, pivoted off it, broke it. We gapped through it this morning. So not only is it wanting to fill the gap, it's also wanting to retest that 40. It's actually above the 40 right now, so I do see that as a little bit healthier move on the S&P. But that's just what I'm looking at right now, is that retest. So if you see rejection on the 40 here, if you see a big upper wick by the end of today, hey, just know we might be getting some rejection on here. But other than that, it looks pretty healthy. We're still at session highs here. Let's go back here. Let's take a look at the broad market now. Let's look at the actual index, VectorVest composite here. With the VectorVest composite, we have filled the gap from yesterday here. Still at session highs. Let's go to a 1 day. Oh, let me take off value so we don't skew that. Here we are. All right, now that we took off value, we can actually see, but you can see strong momentum in the broad market throughout the day. Alex has bought the dip yesterday, Ryan. Good job, Alex. I bought the dip. Well, I bought a little bit. You know me, I don't really buy a whole lot of stocks, more of an option trader. But I did buy that dip on Data Vault. Probably wish I would have bought a little bit more, but it's up. Yeah, Kara, that's the attitude here. Buy the dip, but do so cautiously, right? That's exactly what the color guard tells you. I see quantum is moving. Good or bad, Jazz? Good or bad? I haven't looked at quantum. Bitcoin appears to be extremely oversold. Yeah, it was. I know the BTC ETF was around that 200-day moving average. Might have just broken it. Let's see here. Let's actually take a look at old Bitcoin. Here's BTC price action. Broke the 20 and broke the 40 here. So be careful on Bitcoin right now. Let's see here. Oh, that's intraday. Duh. I thought that looked weird. Yeah, that looks more sense. All right, let's take a look at the 200. See where the 200 day is. The reason why I'm adding the 200 day moving average is to look for support. Technical traders typically like that for support. Not saying it's going to catch it and hold it, but typically it likes to pivot off of it. We've seen that, especially if you're a trader. You've probably seen that in a lot of equities, not just Bitcoin. What happened here? Oh, forgot to check it out. Yeah. 200, simple, 40. All right, purple. There we go. All right, so yeah, we broke the 200. You can see the break, right? You can see the retest from the bottom, but with rejection now, right? We saw a rejection. Even the gap today, the candlestick trying to fill up there. I see that. That's what I don't want to see in the Qs, right? That's why I don't want to see the S&P. S&P looked a little healthier, but as far as the Qs, if we get a bottom wick, if we, who knows how today's going to finish here. But if you see, big upper wick and we see follow through to the downside tomorrow, or come Monday, just stay disciplined on any, stocks you may have opened up, buying the dip over this last week here. Stick to your stops, right? And hopefully your stops, if you did most of these trades, hopefully you have some sense of technical analysis and you're not just buying the dip all willy-nilly. If you're just gonna buy the dips all willy-nilly, at least wait for a green light or some kind of a little bit more optimism, because optimism we're seeing today, I mean, it's just a technical analysis retest from the bottom end here. That's kind of what we're seeing. I'm not seeing much more than that. Even if you look at the advanced declines here, the decline's still at 46%. Still sitting at 46%. That's not a blast off day. That's not some kind of rally that I'm sold on. I didn't buy any more today. Which I would have bought the calls. I still holding the put on the Qs I bought recently. Down about 12%. We'll see. Only bought 2 of them. Cost me just over $200. So we'll see if we get a late day rally there. Might make a couple bucks off that. If not, I'll cut them off soon. All right. Let's see here. CRS is one of the few positions up for the week. Oh, nice. Ryan, the VIX was up for the week 20% through 8:30 a.m. today. Since then, it's in down 14%. Yeah, the VIX, man, the VIX looks at a lot of decay. It has to do with future contracts, things of that nature, the S&P. But yeah, that thing can lose value really quick. It does good during a sell-off, or especially when a sell-off is accelerating. But if that sell-off starts to lose momentum like we're seeing today, it can definitely go the other way pretty quickly. Overall, just know the market timing signals that scroll up here, they're down. Well, actually, the primary wave says up. Oh, it's because it's saying up from yesterday. Gotcha. Again, intraday. Well, it might remain up. Look at that, 75.71. The VectorVest Composite trying to claw its way back up here. Primary, we're only 6 cents off, so we might be able to keep that primary wave up signal. That would be nice to see some follow through there, right? You know, obviously, to get a green light. Well, actually, we could potentially get another green light today. Look at that. Yeah, if we get that primary wave up, we're already higher than yesterday. For the green light, just got to be higher day over day and day over week. Ryan, is it time to move to all cash? Hello, VV Nation. What a month so far. I don't know about all cash. That's, going out and just selling everything. I don't see that, especially with the primary wave currently up. It looks like it might stay up right now. And I'm seeing the Qs at over 613 right now. So it doesn't look like we are just getting that rejection off the 40. So I'm actually going to close that position. A small loss. That's all right. Got to stay disciplined. So yeah, we might actually see some follow through here. But again, see how the rest of the day pans out. As far as, advanced declines, it's mixed there. So I'm not, if you didn't buy already this morning or yesterday, I want to be rushing out. Tiptoe if you do. Not just backing up the truck and buying everything. That's for sure. I told a friend of mine to sell all of a CRML at 30 and put it all into CAH and sell premium on CAH. He had a high 6-figure gain on CRML. Of course, he didn't listen, and now CRML $8. $8. Woo. See ya. Another person asking about hymns. Interesting. But yeah, look at that. The VectorVest Composite. We might just get a primary wave up talking about it right now. I see the late day rally, or midday rally, I should say. But I like it. If you bought the dip, just stay disciplined. And let's see what's moving right now. Let's see if there's any good dip stocks out there. Stock pick ideas. Thank you, Bill. Was a killer month for sure. All right, let's see here. Let's see what the hot stocks are. Look at that. Micron double leverage. Ooh, of 14% today. My mom is in Micron. I got her into it. She is holding on Micron. Let's see here. Viav Solutions. Warner Brothers at 4% as well. Let's take a look at some of these stocks. Look at that big body candlestick right up there at session highs right now. Looks good for Micron. Here's another one. Follow through to today. Buy rating intact. If you want looking for a pullback, the last time it touched a 20, seemed like a nice little pivot off it. Could look for that. Otherwise, it is momentum to the upside. Viav, look at this. Close to the 20. Staying right above the gap as well. Be careful if you're in this because it does have a big gap. Could be tempted to lure into that. Warner Brothers, I just don't like the earnings per share falling on this. The stock itself looks good. Lower left, upper right, staying above the moving averages here. But the earnings per share, because that is dropping, I would be concerned of that. Let's actually add value. Let's see what value is looking like here. And the value is dropping as well. Look at that. It was nice. Value and price were rising, but value is just not there now. Like a foreign bank, we have price action rising, value rising as well. It's going to be a gappy. It is a foreign entity. I think MU was about the first stock to go green this morning, leading the charge. Yeah, it came out the gate strong. I did see that. And it's crazy because it did go down to 230, and that's where I told my mom to ask her broker to put it at, but he just put it in a regular order. But it's right back where she bought it. I told her for the long haul, I'm not too concerned. SanDisk is recovering. Nice. Palantir. Ooh, Palantir might just be retesting that channel from the bottom. We'll take a look at Palantir. But this one looks nice. Look at lower left, upper right. Pressure's on today. Not too convinced. Here we go. Overvalued. Did have some value about 6 months ago, but not now. Big body candlestick coming off near the 20. Here's a steady Eddie. NatWest Group. Lower left, upper right. Coming back to the 20. Could be a good accumulation zone, right? And that 20 is right at this level of support too. That might actually be a decent trade. Undervalued, value rising, earnings is rising. This is a nice steady Eddie stock here. Not that boring of a stock either. It went from what? About 13 bucks now, just retracing from 16. So it is moving. Here's Par Pacific. Look at the value on this tick up. Oh man, look at the value. I like that. Earnings per share too. Whew. That's a big move in value from 15 to 45. Actually, speaking of big moves, remind me, I got an interesting fish in a stock I haven't really talked too kindly about, but it's on my radar right now. It's on my radar. ATEC, I like the earnings turnaround story. Look at that. Forecasted earnings went from negative to positive. It's overvalued. I'm not going to argue that. But as far as price action, lower left, upper right, pretty volatile. Could be a swing trader stock here. Be careful on the 20, because if it breaks it, you see last time, it hugged that 20 on the bottom end as well here. Hugged it on the bottom end before coming back. Here's Laser. Finding a nice support level just below 30 bucks here. Earnings per share, again, another turnaround story. But there's just the valuations. Hard to get too excited about this. Be careful of that one. Stick more to the technicals here. We've already broke the 20. Looks like we broke the 40. Retesting the 40 from the bottom end now. You're probably going to see that in a lot of stocks. All right, let's go back here. Let's see. Oh, let's just do overall top-rated stocks. Let's not overthink it. Let's see what VectorVest is giving us here. Micron at the top of the list, right? Whew. Look at that. Big body candlestick still undervalued. 351 is what our current valuation is here for this. Bill, thank you. VectorVest helped a lot. I'm in the learning process. Portfolio was passed down to me, so had to learn fast. Kara, I'll be honest with you. Some people, it's better to just start the learning process rather than start the trading process. So many people, either inherit a portfolio or whatever it may be, just start investing, buying stocks, all willy-nilly, right? That's not what you want to do. Not what you want to do at all. Ryan, can you find a silver stock, since now silver is considered critical metal? It is considered critical metal. Not mineral, but critical metal. I'm not too surprised by that. Definitely being a conductor of silver. Ryan, PAR looks good. 6,000 EPS change for this year. They are forecasting 1,900% PARR. Oh, that was on the last list, wasn't it? John, was that the one on the last list? I think so. Copper, good, awesome. Yeah, copper, mining stocks in general. Clearly you're seeing how important minerals are nowadays, right? But look, Micron, this is a pure domestic chip manufacturer play here. Powerhouse fab. They are a fab. A lot of chip companies out there they don't have a fab. Like AMD, they're fabless. NVIDIA, fabless. I don't think they have a fab now. Does NVIDIA have a fab? They're still all using TSM. Micron, they were using a lot of Asian, Taiwanese manufacturers, but a lot of that stuff has now been pulled stateside, and they got a lot of projects through a couple different states, New York being the biggest. A lot of big stuff going with Micron. All right, let's take a look at these. Anglo Gold. Hey, any dip in gold, I still see them being a good dip. Yes, if gold gets overextended from a rally, especially, if the market starts to accelerate here, just be careful. See, look at this. Gold stock went right with the market yesterday and going with tech today. Interesting. Gold moving along with tech right now, but earnings per share still rising. Price action looks good. Undervalued. AMD, ever since the Chat GPT or OpenAI announcement, the stock's been overvalued. That's gonna be my only caveat, right? But you could say this is a bold prediction or not, but I would not be surprised to see AMD and Micron, have $1 trillion market cap in the future. And when I say future, probably within the next year or two. I have to look at the market caps, but I wouldn't be surprised, to see $1 trillion market cap with them at some point. All right, let's see here. Hecla Mining, another one, lower left, upper right. Valuation also rising here. I like it. ABB says AMKR, fab in the USA. ABB, are you saying that is a fab? They're a US fab? Ryan, I'm surprised that diamonds don't have an ETF. They don't? I should make a watch list like that. A commodity ETF watch list to help track it. I should do that for the live streams. I'll do that. And I'll see if I can find someone for diamonds. Really, Barry? I'm surprised. They got ETFs on everything. They don't have ETF. Now they're talking about ETFs on, what was it? Some kind of innovation fund. I heard it on CNBC where investors want to get exposure to companies like Enduro or Chat GPT, but they're private equity, so now they're making an ETF on private equities. Apparently, I don't know how that works. But look on the horizon for that. If you know any more about that, put it in the comment section. But I just heard about that. I think it was yesterday or the day before. So that would be cool, though, if you could get exposure to private equities through ETFs. I mean, think what all ETFs have given you exposure to, crypto being one of them, right? So I'm not going to say that private equity ETF would be out of the realm of possibility after seeing, I don't know how the finances and all that stuff would work, the financials, but that would be interesting. All right, Hecla Mining, again with gold, just a little bit of a pullback, but look at the pivot off the 20-day here. That's a strong pivot today. I like that. That's actually a good move. Strong earnings as well. Buy rating intact. Here's DRD Gold. Top VST. Look, this was top VST, so gold making its way back into the list. Right now we're seeing strong. Let's just take a look at this list here. Gold. You're seeing strong semis. Some of my favorite semis I always talk about. Micron, AMD, and gold. I mean, if you just look at all my videos and just listen to me, you're going to hear me talk about at least one of those three things, probably on every live stream or video this year, right? Kinross Gold, CLS, Alaska, that's another one, CRS, Carpenter. Other than these two gold stocks, the top VST, doing good. Barrick Gold, here, look at this. Lamb Research. SanDisk, look at that, up 10% today on SanDisk. Nice. Double leverage Eli Lilly making its way to the top of the list here. Target also. Mining. I'm going to go back into some more mining gold. A lot of gold. Amphenol. I haven't looked at Amphenol in a while. What's Amphenol up to? Look at that pivot right on the 20. I know whoever bought that at the 20 is probably happy. That is a steady Eddie stock there. And every time, at least over the last 6 months, that 20 has, no, it broke the, let's see here, 40. No, that's on the 40. Nice. Yeah, between that 20 and between that 40 seems like a good area to accumulate shares here. And the stock is rising, strong buy rating. It is overvalued, but look at the value rising with price action here. Is today safe to buy or sell? The ones are up. I wouldn't say today is a safe day to buy if you do buy. I mean, you can see that right on the, we'll take a look after this list here. Google looking good. Let's go back to the market. Let's see if we get that green light. Can we get that green light? No, market's pulling back just a little bit. We're at 75.71. We were so close. We were just a few cents away. All we need is 75.78. You can see 5 days ago, November 7th, we got 75.77. But if you see that 75.78, that's the green light. Primary wave, we could lose that as well. So I'm not going to say it's if you bought this morning on the dip, hey, just stay disciplined. But as far as saying that today is a safe day to buy, nope, can't say that. They need an ETF for Chick-fil-A and Quick Trip. Stop. Oh, God. Imagine private equity ETFs. I mean, I'm not going to say it's out of the realm of possibility. Actually, will someone Google it? Someone Google, is there a private equity ETF? I'm just curious. All right, let's go back to some more stock pick ideas. Hit that like button. We're going to go off the 1 stock for every 10 likes. Let's see here. Let's go to premium watch list. Let's see what the semiconductors are doing. We're seeing some optimism. Micron, AMD at the top of the list here. And they were at the top of the VST list. As far as the semis, for the most part, they're in positive territory today. No. Oh.
To answer your question, Ryan, yeah, there's a couple of private equity ETFs.
Oh, Clay. We got Clay in the background. He is saying that there are a couple private equity ETFs, by the way.
You want the ticker symbols?
Actually, yeah. Give me one of them.
PSP.
What is it called?
PSP.
Invesco Private Equity. Here's one right here. There is a PE ETF. Forgot what it was. Found it a few months ago. But here's one right here. PSP. Private Equity. Feeling the pressure, though, right? It doesn't look fairly valued, right on par. Let's see here. Well, it's an ETF, duh. RT is 0.91. Doesn't look too good for the private equities. I'll have to do my research. Maybe I can do a video, see if I can find some private equities holding stocks like ChatGPT or a SpaceX, something that investors are trying to get exposure to. That's an interesting idea. Remind me that, Clay, in case I forget. I think that'd be a good video there. All right. Let's go back to stock pick ideas. I'm curious. This Petroleum that popped up. Let's see what Petroleum is doing here. Still rocking and rolling. So we talked about this, I think, like 2 live streams ago. I'm not a big Petroleum person, but these are stocks here are in uptrends. The earnings per share doesn't look pretty. Fully valued. This one's undervalued. Earnings per share looks gappy, though. Value's rising, price is rising. Here's another one. Overvalued, but value is rising. Broke its downtrend. Look at that, Petroleum. I mean, all these stocks, they were on downtrends, but clearly those downtrends are being broken. The values and the earnings per share, it's hard to get excited about this space. There's talk of natural gas going up. Yeah, natural gas, that is volatile. Good luck with that. But yeah, it could be seasonal. So going into winter, I'm not going to be too surprised to see. But that's like playing Petroleum, right before the summertime, right? Right before peak travel. It's that seasonality trade. So I wouldn't be surprised by that. But as far as these Petroleum stocks, not that one. It's overvalued and falling earnings. I would stick more to the technicals on these. Overvalued, falling earnings. Falling earnings, falling stock. Value is rising and undervalued. This is a very low valued, low market cap one, low volume one as well. Here's one with value rise, but the earnings is falling on pretty much the entire industry here. Look at that, falling, earnings is falling, earnings is negative, value is falling. No, I'm going to stay away from these stocks. Let's see the retail going into the holidays. See if there's any potential there with the retail here. Look at Macy's leading the pack. Overvalued. We only value the stock at $15.64. So you had some value opportunities over the summer, but you can see investors willing to pay a premium. Probably the holiday trade, right? Talked about this a couple weeks ago. Dillard's, look at that big upper wick there. Falling earnings, overvalued. Another space I just cannot get too excited about. Not much value there. Not that big of a fan of those. Let's go back to premium watch list. Contra ETFs? Let's see what Contra ETFs, right? So we got the Russell up here. Okay, so the Russell, getting confirmation of some of the Russell here. Let's go 3 months. You see moving averages moving up here. A little overextended. Not surprised it's down today with the market trying to make a comeback. If it's right at this level of support here, if you're in these contras, Russell looks good. Here's Russell again. Not surprised. Dow Jones right at the 40. I mean, the Contra ETFs, here's ProShares short QQQ. It's above the moving averages now. Not too sold on the Contras. Can you check healthcare industry? I was going to run some VV inquiries this weekend. In regards to what about the healthcare? Let's see what Quantum's doing. Just curious. AMD, the big players up top. No surprise, they're doing pretty well. Let's go down here to the more speculative ones here. MicroStrategy is interesting. I need to take this out of this list. Look at that, 205. Oof. Look at the value on MicroStrategy. That is rocking. I know someone was talking about earnings per share. Just in the last 6 months, it went from negative about $4 earnings per share and valuation just over 100 to valuation over 100 to now positive earnings per share. And I'm not a big fan of this stock. This is the stock I was talking about, but look at this over the last year. That's a volatile way to play Bitcoin. Bitcoin's already volatile. But MicroStrategy, the dip, I know see here, the purple line, I believe, was the 200, right? Yeah, that's the 200. So it broke it a while ago. I talked about it before. Watch out for the derivative bubble on Bitcoin. But yeah, I still don't like it. I like the valuation of it. All right, here is Amplitech Group. Another overvalued company. You can see valuation is ticking up. I do like that. Earnings per share trying to be a turnaround story, but the stock still overvalued. Sell rating in place right now. Here's Applied Digital. Mm. Broke the 20, broke the 40. Oh, that was rough. Overvalued, earnings per share dropping. Be careful of this one. LAES 467. Nice. This is a stock I actually very interested in, but I want to get it closer to that valuation. Quantum looks like it's feeling the pressure right now, down 4%. IO and Q up 5%. It's a mixed bag on Quantum. Look at this one. IO and Q feeling some pressure right around that 200-day moving average. There's the pivot. Could be short term if you did buy IO and Q off that pivot. Be careful. Maybe look at the 20-day EMA as a price target, which right now puts it about $58. So what do we get from Switzerland beside? Had nice earnings this morning. Oh, did it? Nice. But yeah, IO and Q. This could be a nice little pivot off that 200. Here's QNCCF. This one's been rocking and rolling. Went from 60 cents upwards of 360s. Overvalued though, so be careful. Earnings is falling. I need it to hook on that 40. And it looks like it's trying to hook on that 40. If not, protect some profits. Here's QSI. Another big move from QSI coming off that high. You can see the pivot up there, about 350. Earnings per share is moving in the right direction. Valuation is declining, though. That's one thing I don't like. That's what had my attention here when I first started talking about QSI about a year ago. And it's just been a swing trade. You know, if you get into it when it's undervalued, you know, sell it on the next blast off zone. You can see it's worked pretty well over the last year. Here is Qubits, D-Wave. I see this $20. It's trying to come off that support, but look at that 200-day. The 200 days making its way right to that $20 mark. Keep that in mind. Here is Rigetti. I mean, you can see these stocks just so overstretched from evaluation. A lot of speculation. Hopefully, you've protected profits along the way here. What is your take on rolling over option trades? A call option is 28, 97%. Should I roll it over or leave it? Is down 97%? Like you sold it or you bought the call and it's down 97%? Because if you went into a trade, bought the call, you're down 97% in that trade. The last thing I'm going to do is double down and do the trade again and roll it over to another option. I don't know. Maybe if it was a working trade, right? But I'd have to know more details about that options trade. But as far as Rigetti, that's catching a fallen knife there. I'm looking around $20. You can see the 200-day moving right in there. Here's Qubit. Clearly broke that 200 all the way back down to $10. These quantums, I see them coming back down to their valuations. You know, if they keep coming back down, everyone's talking about quantum is crap. It's probably a good time to put it on your radar. But again, a lot of these are well overvalued. Earnings per share here. Here's another quantum. A lot of pressures from 60 to 30. Please protect your profits. If you've been making money in this. Atom. That one's been going down for a while. Whew. All right, not much going on with quantum except protect profits for the most part, especially the more speculative ones. Let's see what gold is doing. These are the gold bugs. Mixed bag on these. No. Actually, mix on these as well. Let's do these wild watch list winners. All right, so we gold. All right, so a lot of these. So it's like gold or strong semiconductors for the most part at the top of the list here. Let's go stock pick ideas. What featured screens this time? Let's look at this one. Worst stocks above 20 bucks. So this would be a short idea. See how the VST ratings are really low. So if we're thinking about shorting in this down market, that looks like a good candidate. Overvalued. See if he gets a rejection here. This is Fly Aerospace. But if he gets a rejection off this 20, could become a short candidate. This one just had, this was the trade here, the breakout to the new low. You can see that trade is still in the making right now. FIG, same thing, new low here. You had consolidation, a channel, and there's the top of the channel. There's the bottom, in this little bar here, if my finger touch it. No. Never mind. But yeah, these look like good short candidates. This one here, be careful with ARC Quantum. This was in the last list, but it's right on that 200 day. Just want to be a little bit careful. See if you get a little bit more of a rejection from the bottom end on the 200 day. Are you going to have UAMY as an honorable mention today? I could definitely do UAMY as an honorable mention. What is your see here, Circle? I can't get behind Circle. And with interest rate cuts on the horizon, again, they're all about short-term treasury notes. If you don't know the business model behind Circle, I don't see it. I saw all the IPO hype, and you can see price action coming out just overvalued, nothing crazy. But the traders came in and brought the stock all the way up to $300 and then is back. So again, stay disciplined, stick to what a stock is really worth, right? If the trade starts to go against you, and you're in an overvalued position, that's why you have technicals. That's why you have discipline in your stops. But this I can't get behind. Earnings per share is down. No, I'd want better prices. Here's Court Hood. Ryan, please, thank you. Will you be Santa at the mall this year? Will I be Santa at the mall this year? Does that mean I get milk and cookies? If I got milk and cookies, I would be a Santa. I love milk and cookies. All right. But this, no. Still looks good. Those are good short candidates for sure. So if you like shorting, this worst stocks above 20. Or put options. Just look, see if some of these stocks are optionable. Let's see here. All right, actually, we only got about 15 minutes left. How many likes do we have here? I'm going to give you 30 seconds. Let's get to your likes. While I'm doing that, I'm going to take a look at a couple of the usual suspects. We're going to look at UAMY being one. It got rejection right where I was thinking. I talked about this. I think it was around 8:15. If you're still in it, my cutoff is going to be around that $6 mark. Look at the value. The value actually dipped for the first time. That's not good. Well, I'm going to say not for the first time. But look at that. Wow, the value dipped. It was like $4.20. Now it's back down to $3.69. Be careful with this one. That was really a pivot move coming from the, that trend line for about, $6.50 or so. It jumped up into the 8s. That's good profit in just 2-3 trading sessions. Right now, we're going to see if we get any follow through from that. So we got to really get that price action above, I'd say around 8.15. Treat it like a zone to get a sense of confirmation there. But price action is below the 40, below the 20 right now. So bearish in nature overall. Look at the 200-day, right where our value is. If there's another steep sell-off, when it comes to rare earths, you could get some value opportunities on UAMY. But right now, my cutoff is going to be around $6. But stay disciplined. Don't be afraid to take some profits. All right. Another one I want to look at. Let's see what old Data Vault's up to. 179. I can get with that. I'll be honest with you, though, because I did buy like I said, 100 shares yesterday. We could just be getting a retest from the 40. You see the resistance there as well. So if I get much of a rejection, uh, just be defensive on your position here. Stick to whatever stops you have. Let's see here. What was the other one? Do you have a trend line for GLD? I do on VectorVest 7. I don't here, but let's take a look at GLD, the gold stocks. I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, just looking at the chart, 1 second, I see everyone coming in to buy gold at the 20-day EMA. It only took me 1 second to realize that everyone's jumping in at gold at the 20-day EMA there, right? So, hey, is what it is. I'm going to be bullish on gold. I'll tell you right now, me personally, I think a dip on gold is much safer than a dip in technology stocks, especially when you get the more speculative natures, the more overvalued ones. Let's see here. Micron dip, though, I could get down with a micron dip. All right, let's see here. Let's create a watch list. Don't put in the stocks yet. My watch list. How many likes do we have? 61 likes. So 6 stocks. 6 stocks. Here we go. First 6 stocks coming across the comments section. Let's see what we got. Let's see what you guys are interested in today. First one, PGR. You must have the best internet connection. Either that or you're hiding in the office and you heard me. That was quick. NFX. Netflix. Interesting. That's a dip. I like, actually. Navitas. B. All right, there we go. We got them all. Netflix. Make sure I didn't. Navitas. BDIR. All right, I'm just going to put in Palantir itself so we can take a look at. All right, and that's it. 1-1. Was it at 1-4? All right, my Q puts struggling in the struggle box, but still there. Oh, wait, no, they did hit my. Okay, I did close out of them. Oh, that works. Hey, is what it is. All right, let's see here. I ran a scan for Netflix split today. Oh, did it? Interesting. I forgot about that split was occurring. All right, ABDL, look at that gap up. I mean, the stock has been chasing value, but after this gap up, the stock is overvalued. It's not scared me yet. I see the buyers coming in, the bottom wick. I see rising earnings per share, strong buy rating. I'm not going to be a buyer of it today. I don't like chasing momentum. You got to ask yourself if you're that comfortable. If the stock was still undervalued after the gap up, maybe if I felt comfortable. But right now I'm not there. But if you're in it, hey, just put your nice level. Let's go to 5 years, see if there's any kind of. There's not much over here, but that's way down. Yeah, there's not much. You're not gonna find much support. So I would put a stop maybe around today's bottom wick, because if you broke it, who knows how far you're gonna go down. Progressive, the value's declining, price is declining. No, it is below the 200. You are catching a falling knife. Let's go to 5 years. That 200 does look like a nice pivot there. This one's hard. If you're already in it, I'd be a lot more enthused by seeing value go up. But yeah, I'm not there right now. And honestly, I mean, you just got consolidation when the 20 and 40 were closed. See what happens. You know, if we can break above that 40, that might be a good trade. But I'd like to see that value start to tick up as well. I don't know where you bought it at, but again, just stay disciplined in case it keeps going down. Here we've got Netflix. Oh, look there. There goes the Qs. It's what's trying to sell off there. We're about 613. Now it's at 611 in just about 10 minutes. All right, Netflix here. I see the 200. It's in the struggle box. My one thing about Netflix, just look at the valuation, $900 here, right? There's a lot of other big market cap companies where I can get some value at. So because it's overvalued, I'm relying on the technicals, and the technicals is showing me that this big long uptrend that Netflix is in is definitely showing a lot of weakness with price action below the 200 here. Here, oh. Look at that. Earnings per share. Netflix is hard. Be careful. And what is this level here? It might come down a little bit more. Two companies are in a bidding war over them. Huh. Interesting. All right, Albemarle Corp here. This is a rare earth play. They're based out of North Carolina, actually. I mean, that is a lot of momentum. I see the overvalued nature of the stock here. Look at the earnings per share also starting to turn around. But this is one of those, what would you call it? A national security, rare earth, critical defense, critical mineral defense, whatever you're talking about. You, you know, what I would do, especially if you wanted to capture some of this momentum to the upside, put a trend line. I would connect a trend line on this wick and this wick here, this swing high, this swing high, and this swing high, and see where that trend line takes you. As long as price action stays above that trend line, hey, is what it is. Yes. Let's see. The market definitely taking a big hit here recently. Let's see. All right. Here's Palantir. Look at that 200-day moving average up to 150. I'm going to tell you right now, Palantir, it broke that ascending channel yesterday, it looked like. Today, it might just be retesting from the bottom end. But if there's much more price pressure on Palantir, I would not be surprised if that 200-day try to make its way up to the 150, and Palantir might be tempted to retest that level. Just be careful of that. But earnings per share is rising. Palantir currently has the hold rating here. We'll see what happens with Palantir. Netflix gave me high blood pressure. I sold at the last high. Nice. Palantir is only down 1% this week. Yes. Let's see here. Yeah, compared to this candlestick here, so it gapped up and came right back down to where it was, right on that level. You can see that level of support here. 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, and with today, that's looking like it could be 5 touches there. Let's keep. Interesting. And here's the 2 times leverage ETF. You can see that leverage ETF as well, right on this support. Quite a few touches on that support level. Oh, wait, that is the balance here. There we go. That support level there. I can't. It's hard to get bullish on Palantir right now with that break in the ascending channel. Now, if we see some momentum and get back into the channel sooner than later, hey, are you getting a perm after you grow your hair out? Or after your hair grows out? No, not getting a perm. Nothing against the perm. Just, I don't know if that's my style. Maybe, Bill, maybe I'll get a perm. We'll have like perm Wednesdays or something. Joey has to get a perm too, though. And we'll get Clay a perm. We'll all get perms. That would be hilarious. All right, but on this holdings here, look at this. Right, here's the pivot. Retesting the 40 from the bottom end. A little bit of wick there already starting to develop. But it's still really close to session highs. So this is the pivot play. That's going to be the first real target right there, the 40. If we get a break in the 40, got a level of resistance. And actually the bottom of this resistance zone is right at that 40. There you go. So you got some reasons for a possible rejection. Just be on the lookout for that, just in case. Here is Navitas, 820. I want this stock to come back down. Oh, let's see here. There's that support level. It broke the trend line. There's a trend line I had on here in the VV7 program. Wait, let's go to 6 months here. I see that 200-day creeping up. Now, the value is probably not going to do nothing for a while here. Because there's a very speculative play, and they're a ways out as far as, selling their product here. This is the gallium semiconductor. But price pressure is on right now. That is... Let's see here. What is it? That's probably about $7. Let's see price action. Just stay above this for right now. But there's a trend line on here I've been looking at. Let's go to a 1-year chart. And it looks like we probably did break that. I think we did break it here and then retested it from the bottom. And that's the rejection that we're getting on that trend line. I think I've talked about that on Navitas earlier this week using the VectorVest 7 desktop software here. Thank you. I'm definitely planning on to hold my shares, though, the close today to take advantage of the split. Oh, of Netflix? Nice. Can we take a poll on whether Ryan should get a perm? Yes or no? Probably not going to do that poll today. I'm never afraid of a good poll, but I don't know if I want to do that poll. All right, let's take a look here, because I know it's almost 1 o'clock. Let's see where we're at here. Primary wave still saying up from yesterday. We're at 75.61. So we're pulling back. We are pulling back a little bit so that, the hope of, keeping that primary wave up signal, we'll see. But it looks like the chances of that are dissipating with this little pullback that we're seeing over the last probably about 30 minutes into the market. The last 30 minutes of the market, we're seeing pullback quite a bit here. So if we take a look at the VectorVest composite, for example, go to intraday. Oh, we got to get rid of value. There we are. A little bit of a pullback there. So if we go to a 1 week. So we clearly filled the gap. Into the gap fill. We're hitting that as a resistance right now. Let's go to a 3-month chart. The 20 and 40 are still well above us. You see the VectorVest composite broke the 20 and 40, came back down, did a pivot, retested, got rejection off of it. Interesting. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ here. Same thing as well. Like I said, I wouldn't be too concerned. If we finish today with a big upper wick, but definitely, especially on the NASDAQ here, even on the VectorVest composite, we need to stay above where the market opened today, because that's where the prior swing low was we're seeing here. All right. Woo. Quite a Friday. It's been a wild week in the market this week. Next week, we've got NVIDIA's earnings, And Joey and I, we are going to do an NVIDIA live stream Wednesday evening, right? And whew, tell you right now, if you're a bull in this market, the last thing you want is NVIDIA to have a miss. God, that would just give every AI bubble person out there the ammunition they needed. So we are going to do a live stream. We're going to make sure we always keep you on the right side of the market. So thank Joey for that as well. Staying later that day, helping out with the live stream here. All right, other than that, we got Thad. That'll be kicking off at 2 p.m. in just an hour. So check out that for another session of Power Hour as he gives great advice utilizing the VectorVest 7 system. Keep you on the right side of these trades. Ollie G says short NVIDIA. Are you on team Michael Burry? Whew, that's rough. That's a hard one to get behind right there, short NVIDIA. On that note, we are out, and I'll see you next week. Take care.